The death of former Steinhoff CEO Markus Jooste will not deter the investigation into recovering the 475 million rand penalty imposed on him. That's all according to the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. Trade Union Cosatu has also appealed to authorities to ensure justice for the victims who lost their pension funds. South African prosecutors had failed to move on the case for more than 6 years, which has raised questions about the country's ability to convict white-collar criminals. Is this a step in the right direction? Joining me to discuss this is Black Business Council CEO Kganki Matabane. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. A man considered to be South Africa's biggest corporate criminal is no longer. But of course, the impact of what he stood accused of is something that many are saying should be thoroughly investigated. What's your view?
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to the Newzroom Afrika viewers. Firstly, we'd like to start by saying condolences to his family and friends. And we welcome the announcement by the FSCA that they'll proceed with the case. But we hope this time they'll move with speed. As you recall, the case started in 2017, and we would like to call it what it is. It's not an accounting irregularity, but it's fraud and corruption. So we hope they will move with speed and not only talk but act. Because if you look at the history from 2017 until now, nothing much actually happened. They started moving because Germany was moving with faster speed. And Germany started convicting people, and then South Africa then followed.
No, continue. Pardon me.
Yeah. So also, what I'm saying is very, very unfortunate because Markus should have stayed alive so that he can provide evidence to the law enforcement agencies. Because now it may just be very difficult. We know PwC and others have done the investigations, but it may be very difficult because the mastermind was responsible for the entire fraud is no more.
And you talk about the history, that it's been at a slow pace, this case, from 2017 up until now. What sort of questions do you think it raises about the country's ability to convict white-collar criminals?
Yeah, it raises many questions. Remember, we've been blacklisted or grey-listed mainly because of some of this type of things. So it's not necessarily giving that much confidence that the country can move with speed, especially dealing with what they term complicated cases. But also the other issue that is raising from a race relations point of view, and from that point of view, it's almost saying those who've got money can delay their cases as much as they can. And when you are a certain skin color, you are basically treated with kid gloves. Because if you contrast this, for example, with VPS, and we're not condoning what happened at VPS, in 2018, the VPS people, those who are involved with VPS, have been in jail, have been in court, have been, some of them have been, for example, the accounting bodies have actually taken action against them and stripped them of their profession. But with Markus, nothing much has actually happened.
And what does his case study say, or perhaps highlight, about the inner workings of fraud framed as accounting irregularities?
Yeah, again, it's basically saying it depends who's committing the fraud. If it's Paul and myself, then they move very, very quickly because maybe perception is that we are not going to take them to court and take them to different courts. But if it's the rich and the powerful, then the authorities move very, 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 very slow.
What would justice look like, would you say, in this case, insofar as the investigation continuing and the outcome and recommendations of such an investigation?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure even Germany, South Africans are waiting to see what will happen with this case, because the intention, I'm sure, of law enforcement agencies is to develop some deterrent so that those people who are thinking of doing the same, those who are thinking of committing this type of a crime, will not do it again. Will not do it. And then those ones who have done it before, they won't do it again. But if people feel like things will move slow, it will take 20 years, and that way you are basically going to encourage people to do it, because they are saying, but chances of being found and arrested are very, very limited. So it's important that we need to improve so that we can increase the deterrent level so that people don't do the same thing.
While you're still on that, what sort of awareness do you think this case raises for those in business and potential investors?
Yeah, the biggest issue, I think, is that the board of any company should always be awake, should raise the right questions, but it should be diverse enough, because if you look at the Steinhoff board at that time, it looks like most of those people were actually appointed by Markus, so they could not question him. They took whatever he was saying as gospel, and hence it took so long for the whole thing to be detected, because even the executive was basically people that he appointed. So people felt probably indebted to him. So it's important that the boards are separate from the executive, so that the board can ask relevant questions. So it's a case of corporate governance, that corporate governance must be done not for the sake of it, but for the real reasons that it must be done for, so that the board can actually hold the management accountable.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. Black Business Council CEO Kganki Matabane giving us his sense there as the death of former Steinhoff CEO Markus Jooste. A lot has been said about how it will not deter the investigation and efforts to recover the over 400 million rand penalty that was imposed on him. And just